the spray caused issues for our eventual race winner, Alex Bowman. He was kind of trying to turn his windshield wiper on, he said, and ultimately ends up hitting Bubba Wallace and really putting him in a bad spot. And, obviously kind of junking his day a little bit. Bubba not too happy after the race. I mean, what say you about the incident between Bowman and Bubba?
Well, you've got two ends of the spectrum here where, yes, it definitely threw Bubba's day in a wrench there. Top 10 qualifying speed today for the 2311 team there. Bubba Wallace, who's notably not that great on road courses, really has improved the last few years. And again, this was another week where top 10 qualifying, matching his teammate Tyler Reddick there pretty well. And then, yeah, gets caught up with Alex Bowman there. Bowman, even in his victory lane interview, showed that he was apologetic, didn't mean any malice there. But you got Bubba Wallace remembering that. And he remembered all the way till the end of the race there goes by. And when Alex Bowman's getting ready to take it to victory lane, got the window net down. Bubba Wallace comes up. And you even saw in the in-car camera him slamming into him, taking him into the wall for a brief second there, showing his frustration. Uh, I'm sure that he'll be hearing from NASCAR. I don't think it'll be a points penalty necessarily. I'm sure there will be a hefty fine for Mr. Wallace, but they don't like it when you do anything when the window net is down there. Ad.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest issue is just when it happened. I think obviously, it would have been a little bit smarter to just kind of, just file it away in the file cabinet a little bit and just maybe, maybe in one of the races, kind of at the end of the season here, maybe get that. But ultimately, I mean, Bubba's going to end up having to, all of these races count massively for Bubba now. So I guess, doesn't really necessarily have time to worry about payback at this point because he's going to need to put some good races together, maybe even get a win to get in the playoffs. I get the frustration. I'm a bit of a snap show myself. I know that'll shock everyone, but I totally understand the emotions and why that happens. Like you said, he'll hear from NASCAR. He'll take his lumps for sure. But at the end of the day, in the world of NASCAR where guys are really hesitant to kind of stick up for themselves on the track, you do got to kind of give Bubba some credit to basically, at least saying, hey, if you're going to do stuff like that, you are going to, get something back from me. The timing of it, don't necessarily agree with it, but ultimately, I do understand the sentiment behind it. Sentiment.
It's not quite him getting into it with Kyle Larson at Kansas a few years ago and warning a suspension. If Carson Hocevar right rearing Harrison Burton last weekend under caution doesn't get a suspension, then Bubba Wallace is not getting suspended for slamming into Alex Bowman there at post race. I think there'll be a fine, and then we all move on from that hunky dory. But you did mention frustrated. I think that's the main thing here for Bubba Wallace. Is last week Joe Logano wins a race, takes away a playoff spot. That's a guy who was right next to him on the playoff bubble cut line. What happens this week? Alex Bowman, the guy right above him on the playoff bubble cut line, takes another playoff spot. Now we're down to, I think there's 5 spots left, give or take, if my math's right here.
I think so.
That time is ticking there for Bubba Wallace to either get a win or point his way in, and the margin for error is just slimmer and slimmer. When you have a car today that had qualifying top 10 speed, you got to make the most of it there. And 13th place finish today. It wasn't the worst day overall, but when a guy like Alex Bowman, who takes you out early, wins the race, the frustration is going to be warranted there. So we'll see what happens moving forward there.